Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com. Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations with Pat Callahan, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space. And now let's move right on over to Pat to see who he has queued up for this week's interview.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations with Pat Callahan. Today we're joined by Jim Miotke, president of BetterPhoto.com. Welcome, Jim.
Hi, Pat. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's great to have you on the show. We appreciate your time. Let's start out with, what is BetterPhoto.com?
BetterPhoto.com is an online community of photographers, and we offer online photography classes where people can learn from the pros wherever they are from the comfort of their own hometown.
Okay. What would you guys say you specialize in?
The thing we're most known for is online photography education. We specialize in this product where students can get interactive feedback on their photos from professional, published authors, photographers.
How long have you guys been around?
I started the site in 1996, so we've been doing this for 11 years. It's a labor of love, weekends and evenings for many, many years, and then around 1999 or 2000, we really went whole hog.
Yeah, I would guess you were probably one of the first.
Yeah, we were. It's been a nice thing having kind of this first mover advantage. And in 1996, I had a friend who was going to college, and she got to publish her master's thesis on this thing called the web. And it was just a neat thing to witness. I saw that you could put your own images and your words together, and I was totally inspired. So I got a HTML for Dummies book and decided to translate a little bit from photographer to computer geek, really.
That's a great story. What year did you say this was when she was completing her master's thesis?
It was in March of 1996.
Wow, on the web.
Yeah.
How far we've come.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about my first interaction with the web the other day, and I think it was around 94. And
that's when most, super early adopters got into it.
Yeah, and I'm far from an early adopter by any means. But one thing I'm especially interested in at BetterPhoto.com is the online photography education classes you guys offer.
Yeah.
What all do you guys offer?
Well, we have over 100 classes, and it sounds like a lot to most people, and it is, but we basically have classes on every kind of aspect of photography. We have classes on popular subjects like exposure and lighting and photographing kids, and we have classes on Photoshop, as well as classes that are specifically designed to help people who just got their new camera. I used to go around the country, giving talks about photography, tips on how to make better images, and inevitably after every show, someone would come up and ask, "That's really great, and I like your tips, but how do I work my camera?" Hold it up to me and want me to help them actually learn the knobs and the dials. So we started these camera courses, camera-specific classes, and those have been a big hit. People with a Canon Digital Rebel or a Nikon Digital SLR, many different cameras can just learn exactly how their camera works to get them going.
Okay. As long as we're on the subject of cameras, for someone who's just starting out, and maybe they're interested in e-commerce and maybe they're not. Maybe they just want to delve a little deeper into photography. What kind of camera would you recommend?
That's a great question, and one I get asked a lot, Pat, and so much that I developed this free web page resource, this tool at Better Photo that's called the Digital Camera Calculator.
Okay, so this can be found on the website at betterphoto.com?
Exactly.
Okay.
If visitors go to the resources section, they'll see your camera, and it'll go to the Digital Camera Calculator, and people put in, what kind of things they want to shoot, and, its size, bulkiness is a big issue. Also, how comfortable they are with different kinds of controls, and then we give them back, the user. And my general advice is that if someone is interested in photography, like for a serious creative hobby, then a digital SLR, single lens reflex camera, is fantastic because it's very scalable. It'll grow with you. The only two drawbacks of it are they're pricier. An entry-level digital SLR is about $800 or $900, and the big thing for me is that they're bulkier, so you may not want to take it with you everywhere you go. I just recently got a Canon G7 compact point-and-shoot digital camera because I was finding that I was leaving my SLR at home and missing many photo ops with my kids. So, if you want to have something that's with you at all times, then a good high-end, point-and-shoot digital camera is fantastic.
I think that's an excellent point. Consider what you're going to be using the camera for. I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then there are some other things like, what's going to make it so that you actually take it with you every time you go out, because that's the key thing. Is you got to have your camera with you everywhere you go.
That's so true.
It's going to be the one time you leave it at home on that side table by the front door is the time when the light is just beautiful, or your kids are doing fantastic, funny things.
Yeah, and I personally try to have mine in my backpack at all times when I'm out and about.
That's exactly the key thing.
Let's return to the classes that you guys offer for a second. What are your most popular classes?
The most popular ones are photographing kids with Vic Orenstein, learning your digital Rebel, the Canon Digital Rebel camera, exposure, and there are several real popular classes by a fantastic photographer named Jim Zuckerman, and he teaches fundamentals, which is really popular, as well as this class on self-discovery, kind of like finding the artist within.
Mm-hmm.
And he teaches a class called Perfect Digital Exposure, which is always popular because many people come into photography and they've taken a great shot, one that they're so proud of, and they get it blown up and put it on the living room wall, and they just love it. But they're frustrated because every time they go out and try to replicate that, they can't seem to do it. So they have a few great shots that they can't seem to repeat. And one of the biggest hurdles is exposure, all the technical side of photography. So exposure is a really popular topic.
What was the name of the class before?
Perfect Digital Exposure.
Yes, that sounds like a class for me, Jim.
Oh, you love it.
It definitely does. You just described my problems to a T.
Yeah, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
So many people have that happen.
Well, that's all the time we have today for E-commerce Conversations with Pat Callahan. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned next week for part 2 of the interview with Jim Miotke.